So here one try block and multiple catch blocks. If we have, what happens? Uh, if we have one, if we have encountered only one exception here at this line, b is equal to 42 by 0. So here divided by 0, error or exception occurs. So as soon as this in this slide the exception encounters, it will jumps to the catch block and it will handle that exception, and it will print what kind of exception it is, and after that it will print the final catch statement. Sorry, finally else statement here in the main. Right. So if you don't have any error here in this statement, say for example, if you have passed an argument here, and then a value will becomes 1, and then there will be no error here in this line. But here int c is equal to 1, so it indicating that, so we are including or we are inserting an element into that array. It's an empty array, and this indicating that it's a one element in that array, so the array size is only 1. So but what we are doing here in this next line, so c of 42 is equal to 99. So what we are doing, we are assigning an index 42 by 99, right? So we are assigning assigning 99 to the index value 42. So in this case we have an array size is only one, which is having only one element. So but we are accessing 42nd index value, so this is an illegal, right? This is an exception. So in this case, so it will call the second catch block. So it will call the second catch block, and it will throws an or handles an exception, array index out of bound exception, and we are creating an object e. You can create anything, exe or e or n, anything you want you can create. So we are just printing this array index out of bound, and this is a system generated exception. So let us explain with an example. So here we are executing this. So once we compiled, so after you wanted to see the output, Java followed by just a class name you have to give. Don't just don't give a extension. Okay. So here multi-catch. So multi-catch. Oh, sorry here. So this test should be a multi-catch class name. Class name should be multi-catch. Okay. Multi-catch here. So that is a file name, multicatch is a file name. So here we are not passing any argument. So in that case, a value will become 0. Once a value becomes 0, so array this arithmetic exception error will occur, or divided by 0 error will occur. And that exception is handled by the first catch block. This is first catch block. After this catch block execution is over, else statement in the main is this. After try catch block statement should be displayed. So here that is displaying. Next is Java multicatch. This is a file name, and here test argument. So we are passing an argument. So once we have passed an argument here, then so argument is argument count is, our argument length is now 1, right? Only one argument we have passed, so a value will get printed, that is a is equal to 1. Next, once a becomes 1, so b value is 42. There will be no exception here in this line, and here it will come to here. And next 42, 42nd index we are not having here, because array size is only 1. We have only one element in that array. So here we have got an error. So in this statement, array index out of bound exception will occur. So here array index out of bound, and this is a plus e. So in which error or which type of exception it is, that it is printing. It's a system generated exception. So 42 array index out of bound. So out of bound we are accessing, that is 42, or 42nd index we are accessing. And next example with a different catch block, but there will be a meaning here. So class test within a try block, the same statements we have kept. A is equal to 0, p is equal to 42 divided by 0, 0 and indicating what? So divided by 0 error. It may be an arithmetic exception or it may be just an exception. So this is called the generic exception catch block. So here if we have, this is a generic exception. As I said, exception is a class or a main class for all these checked and unchecked exception. So this is an exception. Under that we have checked and unchecked exceptions. We have arithmetic exception is a subclass under this exception class, right? Even though if we have written two catch statement to handle this error or this exception, so it will execute this generic exception and it will not execute in particular this arithmetic exception. So actually the error is what? Divided by 0. So it should call this second catch block, right? So if we have multiple catch block and if we have a generic statement or a generic exception or a generic class, then it will, or this generic class will catches are caught this handle this exception, right? 42 divided by 0, so it will not go to the generic or in specific, so it will go to the generic exception. Okay, so generic indicating that whichever error you may get, it may be array out of bound, or it may be a class not found, or it may be divided by 0, arithmetic 0. So if we have catch block with a specific exception also, it will not allow you to execute that, right? Generic exception will handle that exception and it will display generic exception catch. Okay, so here if we are including it in a first catch block or second catch block, so generic exception will catches that exception. So finally generic exception catch will print, and after try and catch block statement will print. These statements will print. So divided by 0 statement will not be printed. So this is also important, generic catch exception or generic exception in a catch clause. Next, nested try statements. Nested try statement. There will be a one try block and you can have multiple catch clauses, but you can have nested try also, a try within a try. So that is you are including the statements in a outer try also and the inner try also. Okay, so here in the main we have main try here. So within that we have I mean in the same previous example only this is. So here we are accepting the argument. Depending on the argument, we are catching our, we have got exception. So that is divided by 0, or else we may move to the array out of bound exception. So if we don't have any errors here, so if we have passed any argument, one or two arguments, then so this error will not be occur, or what is this divided by 0 error will not occur here in this statement, but here in inside or in the inner try block, here we have, if a value is equal to 1, if we have passed an argument to this class or this program, only one argument to that program, so they have written a logic. This is just a logic. A is equal to a value 1 divided by 1 minus 1, so it becomes 0. So here in this statement we have got, or in this nested try block we have got divided by 0 error. So that divided by 0 error will be handled by this here arithmetic exception E. So here divided by 0 error will occur. So these many statements which are there in a nested try block or nested catch will not be carried further. So it will come out of that and it will execute the outer catch block, that is having a arithmetic exception 0. And if we have passed two argument to this method program, so then a value will becomes 2. Here a value will becomes 2. Then int c is equal to 1. Again we are accessing a 42nd index, right? Or we are assigning it to assigning a 99 value to that 42nd index. So in that case, so it will the exception occurs. So that exception will catch by this catch block, and this is array out of bound exception, and it will print the system generated exception. I mean in which line we have got a exception. So that is, so here whatever I have told, they have just given here. So Java nest try, it should be a class name. So I have used test here. So nest try should be a class name. So instead of test, you have to use nest try if you wanted to execute this, if you wanted to copy this. Right, nest try. So right, we are not passing any argument here. So in that case, a value becomes 0. So divided by 0 error will or exception will occur. So in that case, it will execute this last or the outer catch statement or outer catch clause, that is divided by 0, and the specific exception, which kind of exception it is, right? Then Java nest try is a class name, and we have passed one argument, only one, and this is an argument also. So then a value becomes 1, and there also, if a value becomes 1 also, we have got an exception, that is divided by 0 exception. So here also divided by 0 exception. Then in the third try, we have Java nest try is a class name and a program name, and 1 and 2 are the arguments for this program. So then a value will becomes 2. Then once a value becomes 2, if a is equal to 2, then it will execute these statements. So this statement, in this statement, we are assigning a 99 value to the 42nd index. So in that case, so immediate catch block will execute, that is array index out of bound exception, and it will generate the system generated exception, that is array index out of bound, java.lang array index out of bound exception, that is 42. We are accessing 42nd index. So this is the compiled execution. And next is throw. There will be a difference between, there will be a different clauses here. One is throw, and another one is we have throws, right? One is throw and another one is throws. So what is the use of throw and throws? Throw is used, throw is one such class that is used to throw our own errors, user defined errors. User defined errors indicating that you should not give or throw errors like program not executing or program not abnormally terminated. You should not throw such kind of exception. So you have to throw exceptions in such a way that you have to use that checked and unchecked exception are the existing exceptions that are under java.lang. So with that you can use throw clause. So here in the try block you can observe that, so within a method we have a try block. So within try block we have throw new, we are throwing an error without any statements. And so here there are no statements. We are throwing. Instead of system generated exception, our user is throwing an error. Our user is generating an exception. So that is what this is. This is checked exception, null pointer exception. So we are giving that to demo as a name. Null pointer exception, within that demo as a name we have given. So this is our exception. So that is a null pointer exception. New, we are creating an exception and we are throwing an exception. Once the exception is thrown, that should be catch, right? So so with that catch block we have null pointer exception with the object, right? So here abnormal execution or abnormal termination, this is R language, our user language exception. So you should not write like that. So the subclasses we have, that is checked and unchecked and checked exception, those you have to use, right? So null pointer exception you have given a demo as a name. Then we are just printing caught inside demo proc. So demo proc is a routine or a method which we have here. And again we are throwing, throw E. So E is an object which we have created for a null pointer exception. So again we are throwing. So same exception we are throwing once here, and the second time we are throwing at the catch block also. Once we are throwing at this catch block, so this should also be caught by the catch block and this should be handled. And this where it is actually handling this exception. So here you can see that in the main try, within try we know that while calling a demo we are throwing an error, that is demo. So demo procedure is a method. So within that we have a try block. So in this line we have got a exception. So that exception is handled by this catch block. So within a catch block we have we had a another exception, that is throw e, the same exception. So that exception should be handled by the main method. So within a main method we have a catch block, null pointer exception. So system dot out dot println record, right? So here we have first time we have caught this error in the method itself, and again we have thrown this exception. So here record, right? Second time we are handling that exception within a main method. So right, so first time caught inside the demo procedure. So here first catch block, and in the second time we have thrown again. So in the second time record message plus e, this system generated exception will get printed. Okay, so this is the throw and throws. Throws method is throws class is used with the method signature. throws class Throws clause or a throws condition is used with the method clause, right, or a method signature. Class throws demo, here it's just an example. Static void throw one, some method. Within that method we have system.out.println. Inside throw one we are throwing an illegal access exception. This is also one of the checked exception. So for that illegal access exception we have given a name, that is demo, within a string, right? And in this main method we are calling that throw method. Okay, throw one method. So here we have we are throwing an error, and we have given a name. There is no try and catch block here, right? So here we are throwing an error and that should be handled with the catch block. So how we can handle? So this is the program, right? Class throws demo, the same program we have rewritten. Static void throw one, a method throws and illegal access exception. So you should not write like this without try and catch block, okay, with the throws clause. So static void throw one throws illegal access exception. As I said, throws is a class. That class is used with the method signature, so here this is a method and which is having a signature, that is which is having a return type, which is not having any parameter. So this is a signature. Hope you know what is actually the signature is. So throws and illegal access exception. Throw is different than the throws. Okay, so here throw, within a method we have thrown a exception. Here with the method, so as soon as the method signature is complete, so next we have used throws illegal access exception, right? And then after that within a body we have inside thrown throw new illegal access exception, and this is correct. So this is the illegal, and writing this kind of method is illegal using throw clause, and this is correct. And then in order to handle this illegal access exception which we have thrown in this throw one method, we have to use try catch block. So as I said while explaining this, within try the probable statements you have to put here, the probable exception statement. So throw one method is having an exception, that is illegal access exception, and we are calling here. So we know that there will be an exception in throw one method, so that you have to handle that error or handle that exception with the catch block, right? So within this catch block, we have illegal exception. We know that we have we have thrown an illegal exception. So you have to create an object, and finally you have to handle this. Finally you have to printing this or handle this. So here, once you call this throw one method, so it will the control will pass here, and it will see throws illegal exception it is having, and it will print inside throw one, inside throw one. So here we are printing inside throw one, and next throw new illegal exception. So once it throws a illegal exception, we are creating a new exception, and that should be catch or caught by this catch block. So here we are printing caught illegal exception, and we have given a name for that illegal exception as demo, right? So this is one uh, method, throws class, right? So if they have asked any question in the exam like what is exception handling, explain with an example, you have to explain try, catch, finally, throw, throws with an example. Okay, so there will be a difference between throw and throws. Throw can be used for creating our own errors or our own exception, but throws can be used with the method signature, with the method signature. So here void throw one throws illegal exception. So with method signature you have to use throws class, and within that you can have try and block, try and catch blocks. And this is finally uh, so as I said while explaining the syntax of try, catch, and finally, so after executing try and catch block, if you have any statements, else statements, so you have to put it in a finally block. So here try, so within try statement we have thrown a runtime exception that is called demo. So after this try blocks over, then the final statement will execute. So where actually this runtime exception is handling, so that is handling. So here you can see that in the public static void main. So procedure A, we are calling a procedure A. Within that procedure A, we have runtime exception. So that runtime exception will be handled by the generic exception. So here exception caught, right? So only with the procedure A we have written a catch statement, or only for a procedure A we have written a catch statement, that is generic exception. And for procedure B and procedure C they have directly called, we have not used any try and catch statements. So procedure B, so here procedure B which is having try statement, so which is not throwing any error, so we have just a statements here. So system.out.println inside procedure B it is just printing and it is returning it to the main. And then in the finally we have procedure B is finally. Okay, so first it will print inside procedure A, procedure A is finally, inside procedure B is finally, inside procedure C is finally. So here in the procedure C and B there is no exception we are handling, right? This is enough for today's class, and thank you for listening. And this completes your third module. Let us start packages and interfaces which we have, so that we will discuss in the next class. Okay, thank you.